Do you have an amazing product or service that you would like to get in the hands of many more people? Do you maybe work in a call center and want to increase your closing ratio so of course you can increase the amount of commission you receive? If so, this video is for you. So you're making a sale over the phone. When it comes time to transition to the close, there are certain things to do and certain things that you absolutely want to avoid. You want to transition from the content portion of your presentation, meaning as you're giving details about the product or service, into the close. And a really quick and easy way to do so is to simply say, what questions may I answer for you? At this point in time, they will then of course ask you for more information or bring up a concern that they may have. Once they do this, or once they say, you know what, no questions, once they do this, or once they say, you know what, I have no further questions, it is then important to transition into creating a very appropriate close. A mistake that a lot of people make is they use the phrase, what do you think? My friend, absolutely avoid the phrase, what do you think, especially when transitioning into the close. The reason why is, of course, we have multiple parts of our brain. We have a logical part of our brain, and we have an emotional part of our brain. And people make purchases out of the emotional part of their brain, which is where you want people to be if you're going to close the sale. The problem with asking people the question, what do you think, is it gets them out of the purchasing part of their brain into the logical side of their brain. And usually the response is, you know what, I do need to think about it. Which, if you've been in sales longer than about 30 seconds, you understand that this is a phrase that you want to avoid as much as possible. Asking them how they feel about it actually puts them into the purchasing part of their brain, and it allows them to simply tap into intuition and make the best choice for them. Listen to the following phrase. So, Mr. Prospect, how do you feel about what we've discussed today? Do you feel it's best to simply say no thank you and call it a day? Or do you feel it's best to move forward and enjoy these different benefits that this product or service can offer you? Now, why would I say something like that? Again, for starters, it puts them back into the emotional or purchasing side of their brain, which of course is where I want them to be. Second, notice how I gave this person an out. Now, why in the world would I do something like that? Why would I start with, does it feel right to simply say no thank you and call it a day? It's because I want them to understand that I genuinely have their best interests at heart. People can feel when all you want to do is to close a sale to make more money, and it actually causes them to back out and to say no, or to put up some bogus excuse like, I'll think about it, simply to get you off of the phone. By creating that space for them to say no, it actually makes them a lot more likely to say yes. And so again, Mr. Prospect, what feels right to you based off of everything that you've heard today? Does it feel right to simply say no thank you and to call it a day? Or does it feel right to move forward and to enjoy the benefits of this product or service? Notice the order in which I worded those things. People tend to want to dismiss or reject the first option that comes their way. Of course, I want them to say yes. I want them to move forward if it's right for them. And so what I do is I put that option, the option of moving forward and saying yes, last. So that's the very last thing that they hear. Therefore, it makes it a lot more likely that they will actually say yes. They reject the first one of saying no, and they go with the second one. This, of course, doesn't mean that they can't say no. In fact, for example, when someone is talking to me about my mentoring programs and they're taking a look at the different products and services that my company offers, I tell them straight up before I even give them the presentation, if what I offer is not the absolute best thing for you, please tell me no thank you. Please simply tell me what your concern is, or simply say, you know what, this isn't right for me. And I will be more than happy to either customize a program or refer you to another mentor that could be a better fit for you. The second thing you want to avoid is, of course, supporting indecision. A lot of times when people say, I need to think this over, what of course they really mean is, you know what, this isn't a good fit for me and I simply don't want to hurt your feelings. Whenever I hear a person say, I need to think this over, I usually will very kindly and very politely, but also very firmly call them out. I'll say something to the effect of, Thank you for sharing that with me. Usually when I hear the words, I'll think about it, usually the person means no thank you, and they simply don't want to hurt my feelings. And so is that really what you're meaning? Do you really mean to say no thank you because this isn't right for you? At that point, sometimes they'll say yes. And if that's the case, I may ask them about what type of concerns they may have, or I may simply say, thank you so very much. I appreciate your honesty. How may I best serve you from here on out? Would you like me to customize a program or customize a service or refer you to another mentor? What can I do for you here? Or sometimes they may actually help you understand what the objection is. Fantastic. Again, whenever people say I need such amount of time to think things over, it's usually because it's really a no and they don't want to hurt your feelings. Gently calling them out, being of course polite and respectful on this principle, allows them to not only respect you a lot more, but it allows you to find out exactly what's going on, keeping them from making a yes decision. Finally, and this one may seem a little weird, avoid staying in what's called feminine energy during the close. Feminine energy? Wait a second, but I'm a man! I'm a male salesperson! What do you mean staying in feminine energy? Regardless of what gender you are, every single person has both masculine and feminine energy within them. And different parts of the sales process require different types of energy. For example, as you're building rapport in the beginning and as you're detailing some of the products or services, benefits, and features, you're going to want to be in feminine energy because that's what we call the nurturing energy. It's the bring people together energy. However, the close is always done in masculine energy, which means that if you have a hard time switching from feminine to masculine energy, regardless if you're a male or female, you're going to find it really difficult to actually close deals and make money off of your sales. If you're doing this over the phone, an easy way to transition from feminine to masculine energy is to actually put yourself in what we call a power pose. Studies have actually shown that people that maybe use the restroom and put themselves into a large pose will actually release testosterone into the body and put them into what we call masculine energy. What you do is you stand with your legs about shoulder width apart and you raise your arms as if you were signifying that someone had just made a touchdown. Again, what this does is it opens up your chest, it broadens your shoulders, and it makes you feel and appear larger, releasing testosterone into your body. If you're not over the phone, you can, for example, as you are about to make the transition, you can excuse yourself to use the restroom. You could say something to the effect of, you know what, I'm going to give you just a moment to kind of consider what we've talked about and kind of feel out what's best for you. I'm going to quickly use the restroom and I'll come back and I'll answer any questions you have. You can dismiss yourself, go into the restroom, assume the power pose for a moment or two, get into masculine energy, and then come out and help them make some sort of decision, whatever is right for them. Again, if you have trouble getting into masculine energy, you're going to very much struggle to close a sale. One more time, if it's over the phone, you can simply put the prospect on speaker. You can assume the power pose, get yourself into masculine energy, and make the transition into the close. Remember, please do not support indecision. The longer it takes a person to make a decision, the less likely it is that they actually are going to make it. Very gently and very kindly help them to make whatever decision is right for them, even if that means no. I know that may go against a lot of sales training that other people say, and other people say, no, you must force them into saying yes. You've got to put all this pressure and you've got to do all this type of stuff to try to back them into a corner to make them say yes. My friend, that's going to set you up for a lot of headache, and it's going to create a lot of bad will among your customers. Do yourself a favor, avoid a lot of mistakes that I've made, and follow these steps. Avoid the not so good things, do the good things, and allow yourself to watch as your closing ratio skyrockets. Hey, Eric again. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, if you enjoyed it, please make sure to click like and subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment below. And as always, if you want to take your life to the next level, make sure to join us at one of our live events. I promise you'll have the time of your life.